Welcome. Today, we're diving into the world of international trade and intellectual property with a spotlight on the trade related aspects of intellectual property rights or TRIPS. This agreement is a cornerstone of global commerce, shaping how countries protect and enforce intellectual property rights. Whether you're a business owner, creator, or just curious about how ideas are protected across borders, understanding TRIPS is essential. Let's start by exploring what TRIPS is, why it was created, and how it influences the flow of goods, services, and creativity worldwide. TRIPS stands for Trade Related Aspects of Intellectual Property Rights. It's an international legal agreement between all the member nations of the World Trade Organization, WTO. Established in 1995, TRIPS sets minimum standards for the regulation of different forms of intellectual property, such as copyrights, trademarks, patents, and more. Its main goal is to harmonize IP protection globally, ensuring that creators and inventors receive fair treatment and that innovation can flourish in a competitive, international market. Origins of TRIPS can be traced back to the late 1980s, during the Uruguay round of trade negotiations. At that time, there was growing concern among developed countries about the lack of consistent intellectual property protection worldwide. Industries like pharmaceuticals, software, and entertainment were particularly affected. The need for a unified framework led to the creation of TRIPS, which became a key part of the WTO agreement. This marked a significant shift in how IP was viewed in the context of global trade. TRIPS is administered by the World Trade Organization, making it a binding agreement for all WTO members. This means that any country wishing to join the WTO must also agree to implement TRIPS. The WTO provides a platform for resolving disputes related to TRIPS, ensuring that member countries adhere to their commitments. This integration of IP rights into the global trading system has had far-reaching effects on both developed and developing economies. Main objectives of TRIPS are to promote effective and adequate protection of intellectual property rights, to reduce distortions and impediments to international trade, and to ensure that measures and procedures to enforce IP rights do not themselves become barriers to trade. TRIPS also aims to balance the interests of rights holders and the wider public, fostering innovation while ensuring access to knowledge and technology. TRIPS covers a wide range of intellectual property rights. These include copyrights and related rights, trademarks, geographical indications, industrial designs, patents, layout designs of integrated circuits, and protection of undisclosed information such as trade secrets. By setting minimum standards for each type, TRIPS ensures that creators and businesses can operate with confidence in the global market. Under TRIPS, copyrights protect literary and artistic works including books, music, films, and software. Related rights extend to performers, producers of sound recordings, and broadcasting organizations. The agreement sets out minimum standards for the duration and scope of protection, helping to ensure that creators are rewarded for their efforts and that their works are not exploited without permission. Trademarks are signs, logos, or expressions that distinguish goods or services of one enterprise from those of others. TRIPS requires member countries to provide protection for trademarks, ensuring that businesses can build and maintain brand identity in international markets. This helps consumers identify the source of products and services, promoting fair competition and consumer trust. Geographical indications, GIs, are signs used on products that have a specific geographical origin and possess qualities or a reputation due to that origin. Examples include champagne, Darjeeling tea, and Roquefort cheese. TRIPS requires protection for GIs to prevent misuse and protect the unique qualities associated with certain regions, benefiting both producers and consumers. Patents grant inventors exclusive rights to their inventions for a limited period, usually 20 years. TRIPS sets out the minimum standards for patent protection, including what can be patented and the rights of patent holders. This encourages innovation by rewarding inventors while also requiring that inventions be disclosed to the public, contributing to technological progress. Industrial designs refer to the aesthetic aspects of an article, such as its shape, pattern, or color. TRIPS requires member countries to protect industrial designs, ensuring that creators of unique and attractive products can prevent unauthorized copying. This protection helps foster creativity in industries like fashion, technology, and manufacturing. TRIPS also covers the layout designs of integrated circuits, which are the three-dimensional configurations of electronic circuits in microchips. Protecting these designs is crucial for the electronics industry, as it prevents competitors from copying complex and costly innovations. This encourages investment in research and development, driving technological advancement. Trade secrets or undisclosed information are also protected under TRIPS. This includes confidential business information, formulas, practices, or processes that give a business a competitive edge. By requiring member countries to prevent the unauthorized use or disclosure of trade secrets, TRIPS helps businesses maintain their advantage in the marketplace. One of the defining features of TRIPS is the establishment of minimum standards for IP protection. This means that while countries can offer more extensive protection if they wish, they must at least meet the baseline requirements set by TRIPS. This creates a level playing field for international trade and helps prevent a race to the bottom in IP standards. TRIPS doesn't just set standards for protection, it also requires countries to provide effective enforcement mechanisms. This includes civil and administrative procedures, criminal penalties for willful infringement, and border measures to prevent the importation of counterfeit goods. Effective enforcement is key to ensuring that IP rights are meaningful in practice, not just on paper. If a country believes another member is not complying with TRIPS, it can bring a case to the WTO's dispute settlement body. This process helps resolve conflicts and ensures that all members uphold their obligations. The ability to settle disputes at an international level strengthens the credibility and effectiveness of the TRIPS agreement. TRIPS recognizes that countries have different levels of development and provides certain flexibilities. For example, developing countries were given longer transition periods to implement TRIPS provisions. There are also exceptions and limitations, such as compulsory licensing, which allows governments to authorize the use of a patent without the owner's consent under specific conditions, like public health emergency. One of the most debated aspects of TRIPS is its impact on public health, especially access to medicines. The Doha Declaration in 2001 clarified that TRIPS should not prevent members from taking measures to protect public health. This includes using flexibilities like compulsory licensing to ensure access to affordable medicines in developing countries. TRIPS has different implications for developed and developing countries. While developed countries often have strong IP systems in place, developing countries may face challenges in implementing and enforcing TRIPS standards. The agreement aims to support development by allowing for gradual implementation and technical assistance, but debates continue over whether it strikes the right balance. By providing stronger and more consistent IP protection, TRIPS is designed to encourage innovation and creativity. Inventors, artists, and businesses are more likely to invest in new ideas if they know their rights will be protected internationally. However, some critics argue that strict IP rules can also limit access to knowledge and technology, especially in poorer countries. TRIPS has faced criticism from various quarters. Some argue that it favors multinational corporations in developed countries at the expense of local industries and public interests in developing nations. Others point to the challenges of enforcing IP rights in countries with limited resources. The debate over TRIPS continues, with calls for reform to better balance innovation, access, and development. One of the goals of TRIPS is to promote technology transfer to developing countries. The agreement encourages developed countries to provide incentives for companies and institutions to transfer technology, helping to build capacity and foster innovation in less developed economies. However, the effectiveness of these provisions is still debated. Traditional knowledge, such as indigenous medicinal practices or cultural expressions, is not always well protected under conventional IP systems. TRIPS has prompted discussions about how to recognize and safeguard traditional knowledge, ensuring that communities benefit from their cultural heritage and that it is not misappropriated by others. Since its adoption, TRIPS has been amended to address emerging issues. For example, the 2005 amendment allowed for the export of generic medicines to countries lacking manufacturing capacity. Ongoing discussions continue at the WTO to ensure that TRIPS remains relevant in a rapidly changing world, especially as new technologies and challenges arise. The rise of the digital economy has brought new challenges for IP protection. TRIPS provides a foundation, but countries are constantly updating their laws to address issues like online piracy, digital copyright, and cross-border enforcement. The digital age makes international cooperation on IP more important than ever. E-commerce has transformed global trade, raising new questions about how IP rights are protected and enforced online. TRIPS provides a baseline, but countries are working to develop new rules and best practices for the digital marketplace. This includes tackling counterfeit goods, protecting brands, and ensuring consumer trust in online transactions. TRIPS is a product of globalization, reflecting the interconnectedness of economies and the need for common rules. By harmonizing IP standards, TRIPS helps facilitate international trade and investment. However, it also raises questions about cultural diversity, access to knowledge, and the distribution of benefits in a globalized world. Looking ahead, the future of TRIPS will be shaped by ongoing debates over innovation, access, and fairness. As technology evolves and new challenges emerge, the agreement will need to adapt. International cooperation and dialogue will be key to ensuring that TRIPS continues to support both economic growth and the public interest. You might not realize it, but TRIPS affects your daily life. From the music you stream to the medicines you take, the agreement shapes how products and ideas are created, shared, and protected. By setting global standards, TRIPS helps ensure that innovation is rewarded and that consumers can trust the quality and authenticity of what they buy. Summary: the TRIPS agreement is a landmark in international trade and intellectual property. It sets minimum standards, encourages innovation, and aims to balance the interests of creators, businesses, and the public. While challenges and debates remain, understanding TRIPS is crucial for anyone interested in how ideas and creativity drive the global economy. Thanks for joining us on this journey through TRIPS.